Well, thank you all for joining us. We're going to try and give you a 5-minute update on some of the research that we're doing here at Florida Tax Watch. And I'm lucky enough to be joined with Bob Nave, Senior Vice President of Research, and he's got some exciting projects. We're going to try over the next few weeks to just give you thumbnails of some of the things you're going to see before the end of the year. But I don't want to miss the opportunity to remind you, you can hear a lot more about it, as well as engage in our overall research agenda by joining us October 27th and 28th at the Ritz-Carlton in Sarasota. Go to our website to register for that. Looking forward to seeing you there. Bob, let's turn to you. We're going to try and give a quick update on some of the exciting reports you've got going on. And I loved what I read recently on climate change and what we're doing in terms of Florida's readiness by industries. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the purpose of the climate change report is to look at the impacts of climate change on each sector of Florida's economy. When people hear climate change, the first thing they think of is sea level rise. And that is an important part of this, but it's not the only part of it. We're also going to look at the effects of things like saltwater intrusion into the aquifers, and inland effects such as heat and the effect that heat has on agricultural production, on forestry, on wildfires, and I think the reader will be amazed at just how climate change touches every sector of our economy. So we're pretty excited about that report. I think the timing is good. The legislature has showed a renewed emphasis on climate change and the effects, and hopefully we'll put together a report that will be considered favorably by policymakers and legislators. So we feel good about that report.
I love the fact that we're talking about resiliency at the industry level. This isn't just another science paper that's going out there repeating many of the same things. We're looking at the very practical implications to finance, to real estate, to those loans that we've got over the long-term property and supply chains. It's fascinating. I'm looking forward to that coming out. And I know that we're going to dive deeper into that at the annual meeting. So let me shift to a local project that you're working on. In just a few weeks, you're going to be down in Broward talking about the bond oversight work that you're doing there. Tell our folks a little bit more about that project.
We've been working with the Broward County Schools for 7 years to as a resource to the Bond Oversight Committee. In 2014, taxpayers in Broward County approved issuance of $800 million in general obligation bonds that would be used to perform deferred maintenance on the schools, upgrade facilities, and improve the safety of the schools. We are just now, we will get within the next week or so the report from the district. And as we get the district report, we do our own analysis, we put our own report together, and we send that to the Bond Oversight Committee members. Then we appear at the Bond Oversight Committee meeting to present our findings and to discuss the important issues related to that project. This meeting will be interesting because since the last time the Bond Oversight Committee met, there's been turnover at the superintendent level, the general counsel level, the chief financial officer level, the capital facility director level, the safety director. So there'll be a lot of new faces at this next meeting. So I'm excited to meet these people and share our results with them.
Really love how we get to serve as the honest third party truth teller here. And there's some positive things absolutely that we're reporting on this project, but also kind of flagging some challenges that they've been having. You know, a few other counties have gone into bonds for schools and for other reasons. And this is something that we would love to do a little bit more of. And hats off to you, Bob, for moving this forward. Hey, let me close with another project because I mentioned supply chains earlier, and that brings to mind the manufacturing industries. And you've been taking part in a year-round review of the manufacturing sector for a project called Make More that Florida Makes is putting on. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Florida Makes just recently completed the third virtual session of this year's Make More Manufacturing Summit. And they're looking at things like talent development, supply chain resiliency, business growth and things like that. So what we have done is we've looked at video of all the virtual sessions. We've put together a report that outlines not only what the speakers presented, but at the end of the report, we'll end it with a summary of the major challenges that are coming out of this, and the challenges that manufacturing is going to be facing as we continue to recover from COVID are going to be things like how does manufacturing find the right people with the right skills right now? The second challenge is developing resilient supply chains, so that we saw when COVID came, we saw the stress on the supply chain when people started looking for things like toilet paper and hand sanitizer and stuff like that. So resilient supply chains are an important issue, and that's a challenge. Third challenge would be implementation of the Industry 4.0 technology, and these are the super sensors, the things that connect everything to everything else. So we have smart cities, smart factories, and smart classrooms. So we'll look at the challenges of advancing that technology, and then the final challenge will be how does manufacturing attract the next generation of manufacturers. We've seen over the last few years, manufacturing has gone from what one thinks of when one thinks of manufacturing. That's a grimy, dirty factory and people working long hours and stuff like that. But what we're seeing now is factories that are much smarter, much advanced, much more capable, much more technological oriented. So the skills to operate those factories has shifted. So we're going to look at these challenges, and we're also going to look at the strategies that the participants outline to address each of those challenges. So that report will be presented at their October 26th session in Tampa, I think.
I think it's Orlando, and we're going to be there, and it's going to be a wonderful statewide rollout. So we wanted to try and keep these brief just to give you an update. There's a lot more that Bob is working on, and also Kurt Wenner and Jonathan Jareen. Next week, you'll probably be hearing a little bit about our budget watch and our consumer data privacy papers and our deep analysis on how the federal recovery dollars have been using, just to tease you out a little bit. But you're going to hear more of these if you'll join us October 27th and 28th at the Ritz-Carlton in Sarasota. Go to our website, floridataxwatch.org, to register. You'll see it right there at the top. If not, go to the events page. And we're looking forward to seeing you there. If you've got an idea for a project that we should be researching, reach out to us, and look forward to working with you to make sure Florida's staying on the right path here. Appreciate your time, Bob.
Thank you, Tony.